from glory on the pitch to nightmare off it. Football is beautiful, but when political power meets national pride, things get dark. Real dark. We're talking about moments when countries turned on their own teams with consequences that went way beyond angry fans. Suspensions, torture, exile, threats of violent losses. These aren't movie plots. They happened. These are 8 times countries punished their football teams. Number 8. Gabon, 2025 AFCON meltdown. Let's start with something that literally just happened. Days ago, Gabon at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. 3 matches, 3 defeats, 0 points. Lost to Cameroon, Mozambique, then blew a 2-0 lead against defending champions Ivory Coast to lose 3-2 in the final group game. The government response? Brutal. Acting Sports Minister Simplice Desire Mambula went on national television and announced the entire technical staff was sacked. The national team? Suspended indefinitely. And 2 players, captain Bruno Ekwele Manga and star striker Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, kicked out of the squad permanently. The government called it a disgraceful performance that was the antithesis of ethical values. FIFA statutes actually prohibit government interference in football associations, so Gabon could face consequences for this. Either way, it's a reminder that in 2025, countries are still punishing players for poor performances. Number 7. North Korea, 2010 World Cup public shaming. North Korea made the World Cup for the first time in 44 years. After a promising 2-1 loss to Brazil, they got demolished 7-0 by Portugal. That match was broadcast live in North Korea. Bad decision. When the players returned home, Radio Free Asia reported they were summoned to the People's Palace of Culture in Pyongyang for a 6-hour public criticism session in front of 400 people. Government officials, athletes, students. Each player was forced to stand up and criticize head coach Kim Jong-un for betraying Kim Jong-un, the heir apparent. Rumors emerged that coach Kim Jong-un was expelled from the Workers' Party and sent to work construction as punishment. The regime had celebrated the qualification as Kim Jong-un's achievement, so the failure became personal. FIFA investigated, but North Korea's Football Federation denied everything. Still, the reports were detailed enough that they sparked international concern. Players from the 1966 team who'd reached the quarterfinals but then lost to Portugal 5-3 reportedly faced similar treatment. History repeating itself. Number 6. France, ANELKA'S 18-match ban. The 2010 World Cup was a disaster for France, but not just on the pitch. During a 2-0 loss to Mexico, striker Nicolas Anelka had a heated exchange with coach Raymond Domenech. The language was colourful. Reports say he told Domenech to go fucks himself. Half that. Domenech sent Anelka home from South Africa. The squad responded by going on strike, refusing to train. Captain Patrice Evra read out a statement defending Anelka. The whole thing became a national embarrassment. President Nicolas Sarkozy got involved. France finished bottom of their group without winning a match. When they returned home, the French Football Federation handed down punishments. Anelka, 18 matches, effectively ending his international career at 31. Evra got 5 matches, Franck Ribéry 3, Jeremy Toulalon 1. New coach Laurent Blanc dropped all 23 World Cup squad members for his first game in charge. The whole saga showed how a country can turn on its team when they embarrass the nation. Number 5. El Salvador, 14 lifetime bans for match fixing. This isn't about poor performance, this is about betrayal. In 2013, the El Salvador Football Federation banned 14 players for life after a massive match-fixing scandal involving international matches between 2010 and 2012. These weren't fringe players. Alfredo Pacheco held the record for most appearances for El Salvador before his ban. Defender Ramon Sanchez had captained the team at the 2009 CONCACAF Gold Cup. Marvin Gonzalez was captain at the 2011 Gold Cup. The fixed matches included a 5-0 loss to Mexico at the 2011 Gold Cup and friendlies against the United States and Paraguay. An international ring led by a Singaporean criminal known as Dan Tan paid players around $10,000 per fixed match. The scandal ripped through Salvadoran football. Alongside the 14 lifetime bans, 3 more players got shorter suspensions. FIFA extended the bans worldwide, meaning these guys could never play football anywhere again. Several had played in MLS. Central American football struggled financially at the time. Players were poorly paid, clubs unstable, made them vulnerable. But 14 lifetime bans showed El Salvador wasn't messing around. Number 4. Nigeria 2-year presidential ban, June 30th, 2010. Nigeria finishes bottom of their World Cup group with 1 point, lost to Argentina 1-0, Greece 2-1, drew 2-2 with South Korea after Yakubu missed an open goal from 4 yards out. President Goodluck Jonathan's response suspended the entire national team from international competition for 2 years, sacked the Nigerian Football Federation leadership, ordered an investigation into how World Cup funds were spent. There'd been allegations of corruption, a $125,000 hotel cancellation fee, $250,000 for a faulty chartered plane. FIFA stepped in immediately. They don't allow government interference in football associations, so they threatened to ban Nigeria from international football if Jonathan's penalties were enforced. Jonathan backed down after 5 days, lifted the suspension, but then FIFA banned Nigeria anyway in October 2010 because of continued government meddling. The whole thing was chaos, court cases against federation officials, the sports minister interfering with the Nigerian league. Eventually sorted, but Nigeria's 2010 campaign remains one of the most chaotic in World Cup history. Number 3. Iraq, Hussein's reign of terror. This is where things get truly horrifying. From 1984 to 2003, Uday Hussein, Saddam Hussein's eldest son, controlled Iraqi football as head of the Olympic Committee and Football Association. And control meant torture. Players who underperformed were imprisoned, beaten, tortured. One method was falaka, beating the soles of feet with cables. After Iraq failed to qualify for the 1994 World Cup, players were imprisoned and forced to kick concrete footballs in extreme heat. Some were dragged through gravel and thrown into sewage tanks to infect their wounds. Captain Yasser Abdul Latif received a red card during a match in 2000. He was taken to Radwania prison, had his head and eyebrows shaved, a huge humiliation in Iraq, stripped to the waist and forced to do press-ups for 2 hours while 3 guards flogged him with electric cables. This went on for 2 weeks. After losing 4-1 to Japan in the 2000 Asian Cup quarterfinals, 3 players were flogged for 3 days. Legendary coach Amo Baba was once detained for a month despite being 65 and suffering from diabetes and heart problems. This wasn't football, it was systematic terror. Number 2. Zaire, 1974, World Cup aftermath. Zaire, now Democratic Republic of Congo, became the first sub-Saharan African team to qualify for a World Cup in 1974. Dictator Mobutu Sese Seko had invested heavily, gave each player a house and a Volkswagen car. Then things went sideways. Government officials stole the players' bonuses and wages. The players found out before the Yugoslavia match and refused to play. They were eventually persuaded, but played with zero motivation and lost 9-0. Mobutu was furious. He sent presidential guards to threaten the team. The message: lose by 4 or more goals to Brazil and you're not coming home. That's why Zaire defender Mwepu Ilunga charged out of the defensive wall and booted the ball away before a Brazilian free kick. He was trying to waste time, terrified of conceding another goal. It looked like ignorance on TV, it was actually desperation. They lost 3-0 to Brazil. Safe. But when they returned to Kinshasa, there was no hero's welcome. No one met them at the airport. Mobutu cut all funding to football, banned the players from leaving the country, ending any chance of moves abroad. Many slid into poverty. Some are destitute. Goalkeeper Kazadi left the world penniless in 1996. This wasn't just punishment, it was abandonment. Number 1. Hungary, 1956 revolution and the exile of the Golden Team. This is the most tragic story on the list. Hungary's magical Magyars were the greatest team of the 1950s. They beat England 6-3 at Wembley, went 4 years unbeaten, reached the 1954 World Cup final. They revolutionized football with early total football tactics. But in November 1956, the Hungarian Revolution erupted against Soviet control. Most of the team played for Budapest Honved, who were playing Athletic Bilbao in the European Cup. When Soviet tanks rolled into Budapest, the players faced an impossible choice: return home and face potential persecution, or go into exile. Ferenc Puskás, Sándor Kocsis, and Zoltán Csibor chose exile. These 3 had scored 176 goals for Hungary between 1949 and 1956. Their departure destroyed the national team. The greatest team in football history was scattered across Europe by politics. Puskás thrived at Real Madrid, winning European Cups. But Hungary never recovered. They haven't threatened to win a World Cup since. The Golden Team's brilliance was damaged by their 1954 final defeat. The 1956 revolution destroyed it completely. So there you have it. 8 times countries turned on their own teams with consequences that went way beyond the pitch. From public humiliation to torture to permanent exile, these stories remind us that football doesn't exist in a vacuum. When nationalism, dictatorship and politics collide with the world's most popular sport, players pay the price. Which story shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and hit subscribe for more football content like this. Catch you in the next one.